Heartwarming moment. Millionaire exposed as he discovered little girl's incredible crutch plea. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, a storm was brewing, one sparked not by nature, but by the dreams of a little girl named Lucy. As she hobbled along the sidewalk with a crutch, her spirit glimmered brighter than the sun above. All it took was her heartfelt letter and that well-worn crutch for the world to see the truth about the man who held the town's fortunes in his hands. Sam, a single dad fighting against the odds, wondered if he was truly alone in this struggle. Each morning, Sam would rise before dawn, the sleepy town still wrapped in silence. He'd brew a strong cup of coffee and look at Lucy, sprawled out in the living room with crayons and paper, dreaming of adventures. He wanted so much for her. A proper wheelchair, new toys, even a chance to go to the carnival, things that came with a price tag he couldn't afford. The mounting medical bills loomed large, pressing heavy on his chest. He felt like a boxer, knocked down but still swinging. Over in his mansion, Mark, the town's wealthy businessman, reveled in the fruits of his labor, oblivious to the lives he brushed past every day. His charity galas were grandiose, but they never seemed to breach the surface of real intimacy. As he sipped fine wine and mingled with elite patrons, he remained shielded from the very families he claimed to help. Whispered critiques formed a chorus behind him, but Mark was too withdrawn in his bubble to hear. Lucy was aware of the struggles around her, though. She had a rare mobility condition that constricted her freedom, yet her heart soared with possibilities. After school, she began writing a letter, pouring her little soul into it. She wrote about her dreams, a wheelchair that could take her anywhere, where the wheels spun with laughter and friendship. And so, one bright afternoon, she gingerly placed the crutch at the door of Mark's office, right next to her letter, a bold plea for compassion. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. When Mark found the crutch, curiosity turned to bewilderment. At first, he thought it was a joke. But Lucy's words soon pierced through his defenses, revealing the chasm between his reality and hers. A tightness formed in his chest as he descended into a whirlpool of introspection. Every moment he spent in lavish comfort felt like a crime against the struggles he read about in that simple letter. On the other side of town, despair gnawed at Sam as bills stacked high and dreams dimmed. It was the moment of reckoning. He reluctantly considered reaching out to Mark. The image of the wealthy businessman loomed large, but the thought of Lucy's hopeful eyes quickly replaced any pride he felt. And just like that, the stage was set for an encounter fully charged with resentment, guilt, and a desperate hope for connection. Would Mark take a step outside the gilded cage he'd built, or would he retreat back into the life he knew? The tale of Sam, Lucy, and Mark was about to forge an unexpected bond, and the whole town stood on the edge of possibility, waiting for a spark to ignite a long-overdue change. The next morning, the sun rose with a hint of promise. Sam stared at the crutch by the door, its worn surface a reminder of his daughter's resilient spirit. The letter Lucy had written burned in the back of his mind. He couldn't shake off the desperation and hope woven into her words. Maybe today is the day, he thought, a small flutter of courage igniting deep within him. With a determination he hadn't felt in weeks, Sam grabbed his jacket and headed out. Each step felt monumental, as heavy as the worries weighing on his heart. He walked through the dusty streets toward Mark's mansion, his mind racing with a list of things to say. Would the man even care? As he approached the grand structure, his pulse quickened. The mansion loomed above him like a fortress, seemingly impenetrable. He hesitated on the steps, caught between dread and hope. At that moment, a pair of eyes caught his attention, an elderly neighbor sitting on her porch, knitting quietly. She looked up, and her gaze was knowing, a reassurance that he wasn't alone. You can do it, Sam, she called gently, as if reading his mind. Just speak from the heart. The words rang in his ears, solidifying his resolve. He knocked on the ornate door, heart hammering in his chest. Moments felt like hours as he waited. Finally, the door creaked open, revealing Mark in a tailored suit, his expression shifting from confusion to surprise. What do you want? Mark snapped, his tone prickly. Sam felt a flush of indignation, but quickly squashed it. I'm here about Lucy, she asked my daughter. He caught a flicker of recognition in Mark's eyes, maybe a hint of guilt. Taking a deep breath, Sam pushed forward. She wrote you a letter. She needs a new wheelchair. The one she has is old, and doesn't work well. It's not just about comfort, it's about freedom for her. Mark's brow furrowed, as if trying to recall the weight of Lucy's words. I just didn't know. Didn't know? Sam echoed, frustration bubbling under his skin. How many letters do you ignore each week? She's not just a statistic, Mark. She's a little girl with dreams, and you have the power to help. A tension hung in the air, thick as smoke. Mark shifted uncomfortably, his hands shoved into his pockets. But behind that stoic facade, a storm was brewing within him. No one ever really asked me, he finally murmured, almost to himself. I mean, it's always about the charity events, the checks, but personal, real connections? Those are harder. Sam clenched his fists, wrestling with the urge to yell. But Lucy's hopeful smile flickered in his mind, taming his rage. Then make a choice, Mark. Support her, support the community. Be the man you claim to be. Help us. Silence wrapped around them, heavy and suffocating. The glimmer of the morning sun broke through the clouds, illuminating the path ahead. Mark looked lost, grappling with some internal struggle. I'll think about it, he finally said, but Sam could sense the shift, the tiny seed of consideration that had taken root. As he turned to leave, Sam felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Perhaps this could lead to something greater, something real. But as he walked back down the pathway, a question lingered in the air. Could Mark truly step out of his shadows and into the light for Lucy? The clock was ticking, and decisions needed to be made. Would Mark rise to the occasion, or would he let another opportunity slip through his fingers? The whole town held its breath for a moment, teetering on the edge of change, waiting for one man's choice to spark a community's compassion. As Sam made his way back home, the sun blazed down, but it brought little warmth. He felt like a tightrope walker, balancing between hope and despair. Each footfall echoed in his chest as doubt crept in. What if Mark chose to ignore Lucy's plea again? He could almost hear Lucy's laughter, ringing out like music on a summer's day. He missed that sound. It was a stark contrast to the shadows that lingered in their home, the quiet moments filled with concern for the future. Sam pushed open the door to their small house, greeted by the scent of untouched breakfast. Lucy had stayed in bed, probably waiting for him to return, hoping for good news. Dad? Her voice echoed from the other room, light and innocent, yet frail. He took a moment, collecting his thoughts, then walked into her bedroom. Seeing her, framed by her colorful blankets, made his heart swell and ache simultaneously. She was so full of spirit despite her challenges. Hey, sweet pea, he smiled, trying to mask the turmoil inside.
Did you talk to Mark?
She asked, her eyes bright with anticipation. Sam nodded slowly, swallowing the lump in his throat. I did, and he said he'd think about it. But what does that mean? Lucy sat upright, her brows furrowed, charm replaced by a serious concern that was all too adult for her age. It means we have to give him some time. Sometimes people need a nudge to see what's important. Sam sat on the edge of the bed, reaching for her hand. You know, change doesn't happen overnight. Lucy looked down at her crutches, the frustration rippling through her tiny frame. But I need that new wheelchair now. I want to ride freely, just like the other kids. With each word she spoke, Sam felt the weight of responsibility. I know, baby. And I promise, I will do everything I can to make sure you have what you need. Her eyes softened, and a fleeting smile crossed her face, a shimmer of hope sparkling there. You believe he will help me? In that moment, Sam grappled with the honesty of his own heart.
I want to believe that.
They sat in silence, the weight of their dreams hanging in the air. Sam felt the urge to grasp tighter onto that flicker of hope, wishing it could burn brighter and light the way.
I want to help you, Lucy.
We can brainstorm some more ways to reach him, he suggested, eager to change the topic to something proactive. How about a poster? Or a video? She perked up, her imagination racing. If I can show him how much I need it, maybe he'll listen. That's a brilliant idea. Sam replied, his spirit lifting slightly. You're the best. Lucy clapped her hands, joy illuminating her face once more. Let us do it. We can call it Lucy's wish. As they spent the afternoon planning their project, Sam's heart grew lighter. But somewhere in the back of his mind, uncertainty lingered. What if their heartfelt efforts didn't reach mark? Later that evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in shades of pink and orange, Sam stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. The neighborhood was alive with children playing on the street, laughter ringing through the air, a stark contrast to Lucy's quiet world. Would Mark be moved by their project? More importantly, would he come through for Lucy? Sam took a deep breath, his thoughts heavy with the burden of hope. One thing was certain. Lucy's spirit was resilient, and as they embarked on this new quest together, Sam felt a renewed sense of purpose. But what he didn't know was that Mark's decision would soon ripple through the community, igniting a wave of compassion and change. Would Sam have the courage to face the storm that was brewing ahead? The sun shone brightly the next morning, but it was a different kind of day for Sam and Lucy. Fresh from their brainstorming session, the air around them buzzed with excitement and possibility. Lucy was a whirl of energy, her crutches clacking rhythmically against the wooden floor as she paced back and forth, planning every detail of their project with unwavering enthusiasm. First, we need a bright poster, Dad, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with vision. Sam couldn't help but grin at her joy. Something colorful, and maybe with glitter. Lucy, you know how I feel about glitter, he chuckled, thinking of the countless hours spent cleaning up sparkly messes. But the way her face lit up, filled with a determination that felt contagious, made it hard for him to resist. Okay, just a little glitter. Yes, she cheered, her smile unwavering. And then we can make a video. You can help me explain why I really need that new wheelchair. I can show everyone how much fun I could have. Sam nodded, watching her animated gestures fill the room with a warmth that overpowered the usual heaviness he felt. I love it. Let us get this poster made. They gathered materials from around the house: cardboard, markers, and of course, a bit of glitter. Sam marveled at Lucy's creativity. She drew pictures of herself racing in her new wheelchair, surrounded by other kids, all enjoying the day under the sun. It was wholesome joy captured on paper, a stark contrast to the reality of her struggles. When the poster was completed, it was a riot of color and hope. Lucy's wish sprawled across the top in bright letters, emphasizing her dream. I think it's perfect, Sam declared, struggling to hide how touched he felt by her optimism. Now, the video. Sitting in front of the camera, Lucy took a deep breath. Hi, I'm Lucy. Her voice, softened with a touch of shyness, filled the tiny space. She continued, sincerity radiating from her small frame. I have a big wish. I need a new wheelchair so I can ride and play with my friends. If you help me, I promise I'll keep spreading happiness. Sam watched, captivated. This wasn't just a plea. This was Lucy, fearless and genuine. In that moment, he hoped her words could touch hearts. After recording, they huddled over the laptop to edit the video, visions of their small project transforming into something bigger than they imagined. Later that day, Sam posted the video online, hesitant but willing to take a leap of faith. Let us see if Mark pays attention to this, he murmured under his breath. He shared it across social media, tagging Mark and asking for support. The hours dragged on with no response, and Sam's heart sank. Just when doubt began to creep back in, his phone chimed. It was a notification. Mark had viewed the video. His heart raced with a mix of hope and anxiety. Would he respond? Would he care? Anxiously, he opened the message. Let us meet, it read. I have something to discuss. The world tilted on its axis as his heart pounded against his chest. This could be the moment they had been waiting for. Lucy, he called, his voice filled with a hopeful tremor. You won't believe this. As the two of them stood together, anticipation filling the air, Sam couldn't help but think, could this really be the turning point in Lucy's journey? The answer loomed just out of reach, like the sun breaking through the clouds. Would Mark's potential generosity change everything for them? The door was open, and all it would take was for them to step forward. Sam's heart raced as Lucy hopped over eagerly, her crutches clanging against the floor. What did he say? What did he say? He wants to meet us, Sam replied, trying to keep his voice steady, but the excitement was almost overwhelming. Really? Is he going to help? Lucy's eyes danced with hope, painting visions of possibilities.
I don't know yet.
But it's a step forward. Lucy bounced on her crutches, her excitement radiating throughout the small living room. Sam noticed the little spark in her eyes, a determination that reminded him why they had started this journey. But as they prepared for the meeting, a twinge of doubt crept into his mind. What if it didn't go as planned? What if Mark didn't offer the support they needed? Can we make a plan? Lucy asked, pulling out her notebook. What should I say? Let us keep it simple, Sam suggested.
Just tell him what you need and why. Show him the poster we made.
It really captures your spirit. With the poster tucked under her arm, they set off to meet Mark. Each step felt heavier, yet electrified with hope. As they arrived at the cafe, where Mark had suggested, Sam felt a wave of nervous energy wash over him. The clatter of cups and the murmur of conversations faded into the background as they waited for Mark to arrive. Dad, Lucy whispered, her voice barely rising above the cafe noise. What if he doesn't want to help? Lucy, you're being brave just by being here. No matter the outcome, we've already done something amazing together. Lucy smiled, her courage shining through her worry, and he couldn't help but swell with pride. Then Mark walked in, tall and confident, a stark contrast to the cozy cafe. Sam's breath caught in his throat. There was something intimidating about a wealthy man who had the power to impact their lives. Lucy, Mark greeted warmly, kneeling to meet her eye level. And Sam, good to see you. The moment felt surreal. Sam was surprised at how genuine Mark's demeanor was, completely different from the business-like persona he expected. I saw your video, Mark continued, glancing at the colorful poster Lucy held tightly. Your message really moved me. Lucy beamed. I want to show everyone how fun I can be in my new wheelchair. Mark nodded, his expression shifting to one of consideration. I think what you're doing is really special. You have a lot of heart. As Sam watched the two of them interact, hope blossomed within him. Maybe this was the chance they had been waiting for. Mark leaned back, a thoughtful look crossing his face. What if I told you I could help with more than just a wheelchair? What else do you dream of? Sam had never considered any extra help. He had approached this as a request for a single need, but now, as Mark's words lingered in the air, Sam's imagination ran wild. This wasn't just about a wheelchair. Could they really dream bigger? Lucy's eyes widened, and she started to list off ideas: a recreation area, a garden, a buddy bench for kids who needed friends. Each suggestion was fueled by the wild spark of possibility that filled the cafe. As the conversation flowed, Sam felt the weight of his earlier doubts lift. They were no longer just fighting for a single wish. They were building towards something monumental together. But just as hope surged, Mark's phone buzzed. He glanced down to read a message, his expression shifting suddenly. I'm sorry, he said, looking back at them with an apologetic frown. I have to take this. The shift in his tone made Sam's stomach churn. Would they lose this chance? Lucy, let us hold on to what we've just started, he said softly, taking her hand. In that moment of uncertainty, Sam's heart raced again. Would they truly get the support they needed, or was this just another fleeting moment of joy that could slip away? As Mark walked away momentarily to take the call, Lucy looked at Sam, her expression a mix of determination and worry. Dad, do you think he'll come back? Let us believe he will. Sam replied, clutching Lucy's hand tighter. But let us also prepare ourselves for whatever comes next. With the door of possibility ajar, they waited. Would this meeting change everything for them? Or was it just the beginning of a much larger journey ahead? The minutes stretched like rubber bands, each second echoing in Sam's ears. He watched Mark walk away, his broad shoulders stiffening with the weight of some hidden message. Lucy fidgeted with her crutches, her excitement now mixed with a cloud of uncertainty. What if he doesn't come back? She whispered, her voice thick with apprehension. He will, Sam reassured, though his own heart didn't quite believe it. The previous warmth of the meeting felt distant now, overshadowed by the harsh reality of waiting. His mind wandered. Why now? Why this message? What could be so important that it interrupted a life-changing conversation? Let us think of all the fun things we can do if he helps us, Lucy said suddenly, her voice ringing with an effort to pull them back from the edge of disappointment. Maybe a beach day? I want to zoom around on the sand. Sam smiled despite his worry. I can see it now. You, laughing and racing alongside everyone else. We'll build the best sandcastles. Lucy's eyes sparkled with that image, and Sam felt the tide of hope wash back over him. Regardless of what Mark was thinking, they had each other. They were already on a journey, whether or not Mark joined in. Just then, Mark's tall figure returned. He was still focused on his phone, but a moment later he slid it into his pocket, his attention shifting back to them. Sorry about that, he said quickly. Let me get back to what we were discussing. The air hummed with a new energy. Sam held his breath, willing Lucy to capture the moment with her spirit. Thank you for coming back, she squeaked, gripping her poster tightly. Mark chuckled softly. It's important to me, and I have been thinking. You want to show how fun you can be, and you really impress me with your ideas. What if we could make a real impact together? What do you mean? Lucy asked, her voice laced with caution and excitement. Well, what if we started with a community project? Something that not only helps you, but creates a space for kids like you. He paused, looking at Lucy thoughtfully. For all kids to have fun, to connect. Sam felt his heart swell again. You mean like a place where kids can come together, regardless of their limitations? Exactly. Mark nodded, leaning forward. Imagine a playground that's accessible to everyone, an area with hobbies, crafts, and maybe even a garden where kids can learn about the environment. But it's got to be a team effort, a community initiative. Lucy bounced lightly on her crutches, the possibility making her giddy. Can we really do that? Can we make something so big? Mark smiled at her enthusiasm, the kindness in his expression unmistakable. If we work together, yes. I'm interested in being an active part of this. Maybe we can find some local businesses to pitch in. Your voice needs to be heard, Lucy. You're leading this charge, and people will follow. Suddenly, what started as a simple plea for a wheelchair became something far bigger, something transformative, a legacy maybe. Sam's mind raced with possibilities. They could touch lives. This could change everything. But even as excitement filled the cafe, an underlying worry nagged at him. Why was Mark suddenly so invested? What was his angle? I have a few ideas for fundraisers, Lucy said, her excitement puncturing through the weight of uncertainty. We could sell lemonade or even bake cookies. Mark laughed, and Sam felt the warmth in the room settle around them. It was contagious, pushing away the lingering shadows of doubt. As they dove deeper into brainstorming, Sam could see Lucy's confidence growing. Together, they sketched out plans, pouring more dreams onto the pages of Lucy's notebook. Suddenly, the cafe door swung open with a rush, and in walked a group of folks holding banners and colorful posters of their own. Sam's heart sank.
Who were they?
Look, they're yelling. We support Lucy, one of them shouted, holding up a sign with Lucy's name on it. A cheer erupted, drowning out their conversations. What is happening? Sam whispered, glancing at Mark, whose eyes were wide with surprise. Lucy grinned. The energy in the air electrified. Can you believe it, Dad? I think they heard about our idea. But just as voices rose to a crescendo, a woman stepped forward, interrupting the flow. We need to talk about what we can really do to help. Sam felt a lump rise in his throat. This was growing larger than he ever imagined. Would they rise to the challenge ahead? And in that moment, as excitement and uncertainty battled for control, he couldn't shake the question that lingered in the back of his mind. Were they truly ready for the winds of change that seemed to be swirling around them? The commotion brought a whirlwind of emotions crashing over Sam. The murmurs of support from the crowd made the air crackle with anticipation and dread alike. Lucy stared in awe at the group, a mix of pride and disbelief painting her face. For so long, it had just been her idea and the weight of waiting. But now, they were thrust into the spotlight, and the reality of it was dizzying.
Lucy!
Lucy! Came the excited chants from the crowd, unified voices rallying behind her, making Sam's heart drum in his chest. Can you believe this? Lucy gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. It's a little overwhelming, Sam admitted, pushing past the throng of emotions. Mark stepped forward, his face glowing with excitement yet marred by an undercurrent of caution. Let us not lose focus. We need to organize the support. This could well be the beginning of something incredible. Sam watched as the crowd surged closer, banners waving, signs raised high. One read, "Every kid deserves a playground." And another proclaimed, "Lucy, you inspire us." He felt an unexpected swell of pride toward Lucy, who stood small and mighty, a spark in a much larger flame. As cheers echoed, Sam's anxiety simmered. He turned to Mark, who was already scribbling notes, eyes darting between the group and Lucy. "We need to get their contact information. They want to be involved, and we can't let this energy fizzle out," he said, urgency threading through his voice. Lucy leaned on her crutches, her excitement not dimming an ounce. "I can talk to them." Mark nodded, and the encouragement from him felt like a gentle nudge for Lucy. With every step she took toward the audience, her confidence seemed to bloom. "Hey, everyone," she called out, her voice clear and inviting. "I'm Lucy, and I want to build a playground that all kids can enjoy." A hush fell over the crowd, and then erupted into applause and cheering. "Let's help her make it happen," shouted a man with an untamed beard, his excitement palpable. Together, they began to forge connections. Sam saw Lucy, a beacon of hope, drawing others to her vision. One by one, faces turned to her, ready to commit to her cause. They offered ideas, resources, and promised their time. "Can someone bring a diaper cake for our fundraising meeting?" An enthusiastic woman shouted, eliciting a ripple of laughter. "Let us set up a bake sale," offered another. The flood of optimism felt dizzying. But amid the joy and commotion, Sam's earlier worry resurfaced.
Why was Mark so invested?
He sensed something deeper but couldn't grasp it entirely. As the crowd began dispersing, a woman from the back stepped forward, her expression earnest. "We want to support Lucy, but we need to know how to really make it happen." Mark directed his gaze towards Sam and Lucy with an intensity that sent a shiver down Sam's spine. "This is more than just good intentions. We need a plan." Several voices jumped in, each person willing to take up a piece of responsibility. Ideas flowed like rivers now, creating a clear path forward. "Should we have a community meeting in the park?" someone suggested. "Let us reach out to local businesses," added another. Lucy's smile lit up the room, the flame of her dream igniting others' passions. Sam felt a rush of pride as he watched her. "Okay," she shouted over the commotion. "What if we call it Lucy's Dream Playground?" The applause erupted again, louder this time. "Lucy's Dream Playground. Let us do this." Yet just as the adrenaline peaked, the doubt crept back into Sam's mind. Was this new energy enough to build something lasting? Would people hold onto the spark once the initial excitement wore off? The crowd began to thin, but the chatter still bubbled. Sam turned back to Mark, who was scribbling new ideas. "Are you really on board with this?" he asked, his unease creeping in. Mark paused to meet Sam's gaze, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his features. "I am." "I wasn't sure if I could step in, but seeing all of this, it's hard not to feel invested." Before Sam could respond, Lucy tugged at his sleeve, bubbling over with enthusiasm.
Dad, look how many people.
"Wanna help? This could actually happen." It could. But as the day wore on, a nagging question lingered. What were the personal stakes for Mark? What did he stand to gain? They walked home under the fading light, Lucy's laughter masking Sam's roiling thoughts. The excitement had only just begun, yet something more loomed on the horizon. What if the price of the dream was higher than they expected? The sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue that wrapped around Lucy, her joyful chatter weaving through Sam's thoughts like threads of sunshine. But as they turned onto their street, that nagging question about Mark's motives haunted him, echoing louder than Lucy's laughter. "Dad, what's wrong?" Lucy paused, her eyes narrowing in concern. The excitement that coursed through her just moments ago dimmed slightly as she read his expression. "Nothing, sweetheart. Just thinking." He offered her a reassuring smile, grateful for her concern. But the unease clung to him, tightening like a knot in his stomach. Inside, the familiar comfort of their home washed over him. Sprinkled with Lucy's drawings and the unmistakable clutter of childhood, it was a reminder of the life they had built together. He wanted to protect her dreams. As they settled on the living room couch, Lucy propped her crutches against the wall, her eyes shining with anticipation. "Can we start planning Lucy's dream playground tonight?" "I think we should," Sam replied, his heart warming at her enthusiasm. "But let us take a moment to think about how much we can really do. This is going to take a lot of effort." Lucy interrupted, dizzy with ideas. "What if we invited everyone over? We can have a big planning party." "That sounds fun," Sam conceded, feeling the excitement start to ignite within him, but he couldn't help but think about the potential challenges. "But remember, not everyone will be able to commit long-term."
We need to be ready for that.
Lucy scrunched up her nose, her face determined. "Then we'll motivate them. We'll share my story. If they know how much it means to me, they'll want to help." Her conviction struck a chord within him. Maybe he was underestimating the power of her simple dream. Her passion was contagious. It pulled him away from his worries, even if just for a moment. Later that night, Sam sat at the kitchen table, old bills and half-finished projects forgotten. Lucy sprawled out in front of him, doodling plans for the playground swings, slides, even a little sensory garden. "Dad, look," she exclaimed, holding up a drawing of a colorful, vibrant space. "I want it to look like a fairy tale. We can even have a big mural with flowers and animals." He nodded, his heart swelling with admiration. "It's beautiful, Lucy. What if we asked Mark to help with the mural?" He seemed inspired today, like he had a connection to it all. Sam hesitated, the door of doubt creeping back open. They didn't really know Mark, did they? "I don't know, Lucy. He might just be caught up in the moment." "But Dad," she insisted, "if we believe in it, then maybe he will too." She had a point. Something about her infectious enthusiasm felt like a balm to his worries. Maybe they needed a bit of that optimism. Maybe Mark could help in ways Sam couldn't even imagine yet. Just then, a notification pinged on Sam's phone, a message from Mark. They had been in and out of each other's lives without really connecting. This felt like an opportunity. He opened it, heart racing as he read the words. "You did an amazing job today with Lucy. Let us talk strategy tomorrow?" "What does it say?" Lucy leaned forward, barely containing her excitement. "That he wants to meet," Sam replied, a mix of hope and apprehension swirling within him. Lucy stared at him, her eyes wide.
"See?
He wants to help. But what kind of help was it?" Questions danced in Sam's mind, mixing uneasily with Lucy's joyful anticipation. "All right," he finally said, trying to push the doubts aside. "Let us see what he has in mind. Maybe this could lead us somewhere good. It could be the start of something special." Just as he said it, the doorbell rang, making both their hearts leap.
Who could that be?
Lucy beamed, jumping up to grab her crutches. Sam's stomach twisted. It was late, and the unexpected visitor sent an unfamiliar shiver down his spine. He opened the door to find Mark standing there, illuminated by the glow of the porch light, looking more serious than before. "Sam, can we talk?" As the tension between them thickened, Sam wondered what was weighing on Mark's heart. Was he here with good intentions, or was something deeper at play? The moment hung heavy in the air. What secrets lay ahead? Sam's heart raced as he stepped aside, allowing Mark to enter. The softness of Lucy's laughter now felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by the weight of the man's presence. He motioned towards the living room, where Lucy had settled back onto the couch, her eyes darting between the two of them, curiosity etched on her young face. "Lucy, why don't you show Mark your plans for the playground?" Sam suggested, trying to ease the rising tension. "Okay." She brightened, eager to share her vision. She grabbed her sketchbook from the table and held it up with pride.
"Look."
"I want it to be magical and full of color, with swings like rainbows." Mark knelt down to her level, his serious demeanor softening as he admired the drawings. "Wow, Lucy, this is amazing." Sam watched as Lucy beamed under the praise, her eyes sparkling more than the strings of fairy lights hung around the room. He thought about how Mark's mere presence could light up a moment, yet questions still bubbled within him, stirring unease. "Lucy, I saw how inspiring you were today," Mark began, glancing at Sam before returning his attention to Lucy. "Have you ever thought about what this playground could mean for other kids? For kids like you, who face challenges every day." Her brow furrowed, and she shook her head. "I just want it to be a place where everyone can play and be happy." Mark smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across his face.
"Exactly.
Your determination to create something beautiful could change lives."
I want to help you with that."
Sam's heart sank at the word help. It was powerful, but made him uneasy. Did Mark have an ulterior motive?
"What do you propose?"
Sam interjected, striving to maintain his composure. "I have connections. People who can provide resources, materials, funding. But I want to be deeply involved, too. I want this playground to represent Lucy as spirit and determination." Lucy's smile widened, a gleam of hope lighting her features. "Really? You mean it?" "Yes, and I want to collaborate with you both, not just as a donor, but as a partner. We can create something beautiful, something that lasts." Sam's mind raced as he tried to evaluate Mark's sincerity. He couldn't help but think of the stories he'd heard about wealthy benefactors who often fade away once the project was started. "That's generous of you," he said carefully, "but why now? Why us?" Mark's expression turned serious again. "Because, Sam, it's easy to overlook what really matters, especially in my world. After seeing Lucy today, it stirred something in me. I want to make a difference." The vulnerability in Mark's voice struck a chord with Sam. Perhaps he couldn't fully trust him yet, but there was undeniably a leap of faith in the way he spoke. Lucy interrupted, her young heart unable to fully grasp adult complexities. "Can we do it together?"
"Please."
"Let us make it happen." Sam stole a glance at her bright, hopeful face and sighed. Maybe this was a chance they couldn't afford to dismiss. "All right," Sam replied hesitantly, still feeling the weight of his doubt. "We can start discussing ideas. But no empty promises, Mark." "Deal," Mark said, extending his hand to seal the agreement. Lucy bounced excitedly, crutch dancing in place, her joyous laughter filling the air. Just then, the reality of it all settled like a cloud. Sam's heart fluttered somewhere between hope and skepticism. Could they trust this stranger, or was he really a beacon that would lead them into brighter days? In the midst of Lucy's elation, Sam's mind couldn't shake the feeling that this tremor of change might unsettle things he'd fought to stabilize. What had they agreed to, and at what price would progress come? As they began tossing around ideas, Sam couldn't help but feel the weight of opportunity and uncertainty coiling together in a new beginning. But just as he felt a flicker of hope, there was a sudden knock on the door again, and his pulse quickened anew. Who else could it be? He wondered aloud, the air thick with anticipation. Was this an opportunity, or just a prelude to unexpected trouble? As Sam opened the door, a rush of cold air accompanied the additional visitor, a local journalist named Jenna, known for her heartfelt stories and deep community ties. "I heard about Lucy and Mark's plans," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "I want to help share your story." This could inspire so many more people. Sam felt a mix of disbelief and exhilaration. "You want to cover this?" he asked, glancing back at Lucy, who was bouncing on her crutches like a spring. She grinned wider than he had ever seen before. Finally, a wave of positive energy was flowing through their living room. "Yes, I want to capture the idea of Lucy's dream playground and the incredible change it represents," Jenna said, pulling out her notepad. "Your community deserves this story, a chance to rally around a vision that brings kids together, allowing them to connect and play without limits." Mark shifted, his gaze thoughtful. "That could amplify what we're trying to do, rally support from everywhere. It could be the spark we need." Sam nodded slowly, still remaining cautious. "Are you all sure? I worry about how much attention this can bring. I don't want Lucy to feel overwhelmed." Lucy chimed in, her small face radiating excitement. "I want everyone to know. I want them to help us build it. Please, Dad." Her enthusiasm was contagious, and even Sam found himself swept along in the current of her hope. They could share their story, show others that dreams could indeed be attained even against seemingly insurmountable odds. "All right, let us do it," Sam finally declared. "But we need to make sure it stays true to Lucy's spirit." Jenna immediately went to work, asking Lucy questions about her drawings and her dreams for the playground. Lucy spoke animatedly, her spirit shining brightly as she described her vision of laughter echoing through a colorful garden where everyone could find a place to belong. Sam leaned back, pride swelling within him. Over the next few days, the buzz around Lucy's dream playground transformed into something palpable. Jenna's article gained traction, and soon, the community was buzzing with excitement and support. People began reaching out to offer resources, donations, and even volunteers to help with planning. Mark proved to be a genuinely helpful ally, leveraging his connections to draw in local businesses and orchestrating fundraising events. They organized bake sales, community picnics, and even a local concert dedicated to raising funds for the playground. Sam and Lucy watched as the town came alive in ways they had only dreamed of. Community spirit flared, and hope blossomed everywhere. Lucy was at the center of it all, her laughter ringing through the streets. Her dream was becoming a living reality, and watching it unfold felt like magic. On an unseasonably warm Saturday morning, they gathered to break ground at the future site of Lucy's dream playground. The small crowd of supporters cheered as shovels bit into the earth, making a tangible mark on the community. Lucy held up a gold-painted shovel, her face a picture of pure joy. The symbolism wasn't just about dirt and tools, it was about togetherness, love, and the courage to dream big. "Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this. We're building not just a playground, but a place where every child can be free," she shouted, her voice clear and strong. And in that moment, a hush fell over the crowd as her words sunk in. Sam glanced around and saw a wave of emotion wash over faces, tears, smiles, laughter, and a deep sense of connection. Mark stood beside Lucy, a proud smile plastered on his face, a stark contrast to the self-absorbed businessman he once was. "This is just the beginning, Lucy. Together, we're igniting a flame of change." As the shovels dug deeper into the ground, Sam felt the culmination of their efforts humming in the air. Lucy had transformed a simple wish into a powerful community dream. Later, as the sun dipped low, Sam and Lucy sat on a grassy hill overlooking the budding playground. Lucy leaned against him, her heart full and smiling face aglow. "Do you think everyone will come and play?" she asked gently, her innocence shining through. "Yes," Sam said, feeling the warmth of hope envelop them. "Because you dared to ask for what you wanted. Because you inspired so many. This is just the start. Your spirit has made waves, Lucy. You've shown everyone that dreams can come true if we work together." "You think so?" she said, eyes wide with wonder. "I know so," he said, sniffling back tears. "You won't just change your world, you'll change others too." As the day faded to twilight, Sam watched his daughter's excitement dance with the fireflies beginning to flicker on. The sense of family, community, and togetherness woven through it all felt so profound. And in that beautiful moment, Sam understood that dreams, however small, can lead to incredible transformation. And he knew this was only the beginning. You want to witness more incredible stories like Lucy's journey? You need to subscribe now and support the channel. Don't wait not even one more second to share this emotional roller coaster with at least 5 friends who need to feel this joy. Leave a like now and help this story reach even more hearts. Your comments matter. Let us know how this story made you feel. Join our community for more exclusive tales.